So today we have our first presenter is Clint with SanMar. So Clint, I'm going to turn it over to you and we'll look to hear your presentation.
Cool. Good morning, good afternoon, I guess almost everybody. A pleasure to be with this group for sure. I've been looking forward to this for a couple weeks. One thing I'm going to say right off the bat is, of course, everybody on this call, and a lot of you already know me, 15 minutes is almost an impossibility for me. So I'm going to do my absolute best, and I'm probably going to screw it up. So just jot down real quick my email address, which is clintb@sanmar.com. I spell it with a K. KLINT, as in boy, at sanmar.com. If you have questions that don't get answered today, feel free to shoot me an email and I will forward that to your local territory manager or your account executive too as well. Thank you, Jenny. I keep forgetting the chats right there. I should be a professional at Zoom by now, but I'm sadly not. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. I think in thinking about our 15 minutes today and what we wanted to do and what Jenny's really kind of awesome direction to us that we're presenting in advance to think about this. She challenged us each to kind of share with you what makes our individual suppliers stand out, what makes us unique for you to help you sell, which is the most important. SanMar, just like everybody, had a challenge in 2020, and I think we're still, I guess, feeling that. And what we're trying to do right now is be as transparent as possible. That's a goal that SanMar has with all of our distributors, is being transparent and sharing communication kind of as we know it. So I went back and forth on whether I wanted to even talk about inventory and supply chain issues, because I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here on the call, but I do want to take 2 minutes and kind of talk about this. And on one of the things I'm going to share with Jenny that's going to go on the website for you is a document which will kind of support kind of what we're talking about here just for a couple minutes. If you've been on SanMar.com and you've been a customer of SanMar's for a while, you see some inventory holes kind of like you haven't seen in years past. In my time at SanMar, I looked on there 2 days ago and we had some inventory challenges with Navy ST650s. Does anybody here know the ST650? In the color Navy, if we're struggling in that, then SanMar is struggling a little bit like everybody. So we have at SanMar.com, right in the middle, when you scroll down on the homepage, at the very bottom, there's a tab called Resources, and underneath that it says Inventory Updates. That has been an internal tool that we now make available to you. We're going to update that once a week. It's every 2 weeks. It's by category and by brand with color coded so that you can know every single brand when we think it's going to be back and the step that it's in getting back. The end user friendly document, which I'm going to give to Jenny to be posted up for all of you, is kind of 4 reasons on a very easy single flyer you can share with your customers. If you have an end user who's being a little bit more challenging and understanding what you're going through in day-to-day and trying to fill their PO, their favorite color and their favorite tee, and why maybe they need to look at something else just for a PO or two, that will be available to you, and try to make it easy to help those conversations go a little bit smoother. I do think in the overall that we feel pretty comfortable that, or confident I should say, that unless there's something new that happens, which I was saying this a week before the Suez Canal happened, and I know that we had many things that sat there for 2 weeks, and that's not something that I thought would happen beforehand, or any of us did. So, it's the year 2021. Anything literally can happen. I mean, anything, as you all know. But with that being said, I think that we're looking at probably late summer to early fall when we really start to feel better about inventory. There's a few questions about pricing and how that will be affected, and you're going to see a bunch of communication kind of come from SanMar with that too as well. There's some cotton challenges, which is also causing some polyester challenges, and so that might cause some pricing issues too as well. But you'll get some more information from SanMar with that in the very near future. And again, feel free to reach out to us and talk about that. So that's kind of the not so fun stuff. Now that I've got that out of the way, we can talk about the fun stuff. I think for this launch and this time of the year, we're really excited about a couple main things. One of them is we've got to add some new brands. Travis Matthew is a new brand at SanMar. I'm also going to have a single page flyer that will be, again, end user friendly, that I'll give to Jenny, that will be on your website for you to use. It'll be a really great piece for you to grab. If you're not familiar with Travis Matthew, it's a brand that fits in exactly with kind of what we're all seeing and trending in apparel right now, is that even growth of athleisure. It's a crossover. So you can wear something on a Zoom call, maybe out. It's a product that most companies are still okay with investing in apparel. for example, full button woven dress shirts at SanMar right now, kind of a challenge to sell that. A crossover performance polo that can be decorated and worn at home and worn out, and that stuff is what's trending quicker than anything else. TravisMathew is a Southern California brand. They've been in PGA, and then they have been sold in Nordstrom for several years, and it's a high-end brand. So even though we look at challenges that we've had this year, TravisMathew's inventory has also been a challenge because we actually sold out of many, many months of inventory in the first 3 weeks it was out. And we were very surprised by that. So average price point is higher than a brand that we've had before, but I just encourage you to look at it if your customer is looking for a retail brand and something different. I know I always try to promote good, better, best, and I think it's a brand that fits into the best very easy. So double check inventory on that. So that's a big story. The other story is, I know there's been different kind of positions on it, so not to be controversial, but SanMar is bringing a scrub line to you in the next couple weeks called Wonder Wink, and it is a recognized retail scrub brand. If you've been selling polos to a dentist office or a veterinarian clinic, and they've asked you, hey, can you do scrubs for me? That's always been a challenge, I think, for distributors to work smoothly in that market. And we're kind of hoping this gives you the ability to say, yes, let me check and quote and do something for you. So the official launch on that with inventory is going to be May 22nd, I think is when we're expecting the majority of that in. But I don't want to say it's a sea change, but we're very excited about the ability for you to have a recognized brand in a bunch of different fabrics and styles across the board, and lap coats and underlayers and everything here. Has anybody here, is there a flyer for the scrubs yet? Great question, Brooke. I will include that. So we've got 3 things I'm going to send to Jenny that's going to be there for you. It'll be great. I think when it comes to scrubs, the one thing I wanted to say too as well, I'm checking my time, is that we've got a fashion forward fabric too as well, and then more of the workhorse fabric too. I've seen a couple people that have already looked at some programs with it that I think our industry having access to it in a little bit of an easier process with multiple kind of inventory locations like ours, there's going to be some unique applications that are going to be kind of plugged in there outside of even the normal. And everybody knows during 2020, if you tried to find one set of scrubs there for a while, there was no set of scrubs to be found anywhere. So adding more is going to be a potential positive for all of us. And then the third thing I wanted to make sure I touch point, I'm going to try to leave room for a little questions at the end if we have time, is really the retail brands of SanMar. We added Carhartt in some bags for this too as well. And totally agree, KJ. Thank you. You know, Carhartt was probably the biggest surprise for us in 2020. In a year when SanMar sales were down, like everybody's sales were down, and we struggled, Carhartt was up, and it was up double digits. And if you're like me and you grew up with family members wearing Carhartt every day to work, and you thought of it as that work brand only, now it's like really the coolest of the cool brands, and everybody is wearing Carhartt now. Rihanna is wearing Carhartt. So it's a fashion thing, and it's still a work thing. So we've added some bags. We've added 12 bags. I do have a cheat sheet for that as well. I'll include that. So we're up to 4 things. I'll email in to Jenny with Carhartt. And just to speak on retail brands for a second, because I think that we're seeing it with brick and mortar slowing down and having certain challenges. I do think that is going to be a positive for our industry as more retail brands want to come in and give you the opportunity to have access to them and go sell them to your customers and how to do it. And if you look at our retail brands, the majority of those brands had some of the best 2020s that we've had. So without getting too lost in the weeds, because it's 11:43 on my time, but if you look at like the last economic downturn in 2008, 2009, SanMar as an example, our sales, we very quickly saw the average product that your end user was asking you for downshift pretty aggressively. So if they bought a polo, it went to a t-shirt. And if it was a t-shirt, maybe it went to another item very quickly. We saw that within a matter of months. In 2020, we just didn't see that. We saw sales either stop as people held on to their budget or unfortunately didn't have a budget anymore. But the end users that still spent by at least what SanMar sold through our customers, it was a lot of higher end product. And so some of our higher end brands like North Face, Carhartt, and even some of our higher end fashion brands, Bella, were some of the brands that were the best. And some of them ended the year up for 2020 as individual brands. So I know that we all kind of feel what's happening out there, and business is picking back up now too. especially in our local region. But just in general, just don't be afraid to show those brands, because right now, overall, I can tell you from SanMar sales that the more expensive retail brands, some of them are doing some of the best. I'm looking at my schedule here and I'm looking at my to-do list. Next Level is also a brand that SanMar added. Most of you know Next Level probably better than I do because we just added them and they've been in the industry for a long time. So you could educate me about Next Level. But I would just mention that for us, we carry our in-house brand of Fashion Tees District. We've carried Bella for many years now. And so adding Next Level to the family, we hope makes it really easy for whether you look at it as a good, better, best, or whether you look at it as another option. Fashion tees, this could be a whole hour segment on its own, are really taking market share away from basic tees more and more every year. In 2019, the last year before the pandemic happened, there was a 10% market share swing from basic tees to fashion tees. And basic tees is the largest category in our industry for apparel. So it's happening in this launch. For example, if you want to look at one style, and remember one style from today's presentation, look at the PC330. It's the first tri-blend t-shirt that's in the Port & Company price point. It's a tearaway label. And for most of us, including myself, it's also regular size. So it's not going to be a junior size like a Next Level or a Bella, but it's a tri-blend hand. So much easier to sell it to your end user if you know that they don't need a slim fit. It also starts in the twos. White is at $269 and colors at $299. Unless somebody challenges me, which most definitely could happen. I'm wrong all the time, but I think it's the most affordable tri-blend in the entire industry at this point. And now our DM130, which was now probably moves into the second slot at $399. So yes, totally agree. $299 for a tri-blend, it's a big story. So everybody that's on this call, if you've got an opportunity for that, and let me know. I know some of you already have SanMar touch points, but if you really need a sample of that in a grommeted form to look at, shoot me an email for taking the time to be on this call. I appreciate it. So 11:47, I've got 3 minutes, right, Jenny? I hope that wasn't boring. I'm trying to kind of give you a bunch of information really quick. For me, it's just so difficult. 3 minutes, any questions? What is the tri-blend reference? Pete, great question, PC330.
And I think a question came in, Clint, about Wonder Wink. Do you guys, are you?
Wonder Wink is our new scrub brand. That's the retail, the brand that we're coming in. If you go to sanmar.com, it'll be under coming soon. And I will put a cheat sheet on it in the list that I send to Jenny too as well. Really excited about that.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Is there a ladies? And there is, yep, V-neck in the PC3, and it's regular ladies cut. It's not juniors cut too. I really appreciate everybody coming today. I hope that helped, and I look forward to the next one. And I really look forward to seeing everybody in August.
That's right. Hey, thank you, Clint. We appreciate your time.